Have you ever wondered what people are willing to spend hundreds of millions of dollars on? Imagine a single painting, a diamond, or even a bottle of whiskey selling for more than the price of a private island, or even a small country? Welcome to Top Tier 10, where today, we're diving into the top 10 most expensive things ever sold at auction. And trust me, you won't believe what's at number 1. But for the ultra-wealthy, auctions are a whole different universe of playground where art, history, status, and sheer ego collide, and the price tags. Now, let's be honest. Most of us think auctions are for antiques, vintage cars, or maybe the occasional celebrity memorabilia. Absolutely jaw-dropping. We're talking about paintings that have been lost for centuries, rare gemstones that make the Hope Diamond. Look, cheap cars that were once only toys for the mega-rich, and even digital artwork that has shattered every expectation of what value means in the 21st century. But why do people spend fortunes on these things? Is it passion, prestige, or simply because they can? You see, auctions are more than just buying and selling. They are battles of status, history, and desire, where the hammer falls and legends are made. Throughout this video, we'll unveil the most mind-blowing auction items ever sold, some so rare they only appeared once in public, others so iconic they've shaped entire industries, and along the way, you'll discover the masterpiece that made Leonardo da Vinci the king of the art market, the humble comic book that turned into a multi-million-dollar treasure, the ultra-rare car that broke every record, and even the NFT that turned digital pixels into cold, hard cash. Whether you're a fan of art, cars, jewelry, or just curious about how the world's richest people spend their fortunes, this video will leave you shocked, inspired, and maybe even a little jealous. And let's get started. And here's a fun challenge for you. The first item on our list sold for over $100 million, and that is just number 10. Try to guess which item is number 1 before we reveal it at the end. Trust me, it's not what most people expect. If you're ready for a journey into the most extravagant, jaw-dropping auction sales in history, grab a snack, hit that subscribe button because... Sure, Garan a la Pipe by Pablo Picasso sold for $104.2 million in 2004. A painting by Pablo Picasso called Gurkhan a la Pipe sold for an astonishing $104.2 million at Sotheby's in New York, painted in 1905 during Picasso's Rose period. This work features a young Parisian boy holding a pipe, with floral garlands around his head and a gentle palette of pinks and oranges. What's fascinating is that Picasso himself didn't consider this one of his most groundbreaking pieces. Yet for collectors, owning a rare rose, period. Painting from the hands of Picasso is like owning a slice of art history that may never come back to market again. At the time, Picasso was just 24 years old. This period marked a transition in his art from somber tones to more cheerful and warm subjects. The identity of the buyer has never been revealed, adding an extra layer of mystique to the sale. This painting isn't just about the canvas or the paint, it's about the story, the prestige, and the rarity that only a few can afford. For over $100 million, someone took home not just a painting, but a status symbol that quietly whispers power. This rare pink diamond weighs an extraordinary 59.6 carats, with a vivid pink hue so intense and so rare that it stunned the jewelry world when it came up for sale. And vivid color is essentially something that may never appear on the market again. The sheer size and flawless quality of this gem make it one of the most sought-after stones in existence. Buying such a diamond is about more than luxury, it's about owning something truly irreplaceable. A timeless, natural wonder that money alone can't always buy. #9. The Pink Star Diamond sold for $71.2 million. The Pink Star Diamond isn't just any diamond, it's the most valuable gemstone ever sold at auction. Originally mined in Africa, the diamond weighed over 132 carats, for it was meticulously cut and polished for more than 2 years to reach its current perfection. The process alone required extreme precision. One wrong move, and the stone's value could have plummeted. In 2017, Sotheby's Hong Kong hosted the auction where this exceptional diamond sold for $71.2 million to Chow Tai Fook Enterprises, a luxury jeweler who renamed it the CTF Pink Star. What makes it even more remarkable is its origin. Pink diamonds are among the rarest on Earth, representing less than 0.01% of all diamonds mined. But a pink diamond of this size, clarity for the ultra-wealthy. #8. 1,962 Ferrari 250 GTO sold for $48.4 million in 2018. A bright red 1962 Ferrari 250 GTO became the most expensive car ever sold at auction, fetching an unbelievable $48.4 million at RM Sotheby's in Monterey, California. This wasn't just any vintage sports car, this was the holy grail of classic cars. The 250 GTO wasn't just beautiful, it was a champion. Collectors in the car world treat the Ferrari 250 GTO as the ultimate status symbol. It's not just for its aesthetic appeal, but for the rich history under its hood. This particular model won several races in the early 1960s, including the prestigious 1962 Italian GT Championship. But for billionaires who have everything, owning a 250 GTO isn't about transportation, it's about bragging rights, legacy, and pure passion for automotive history. And with so few ever made, every time one comes up for auction, it sets the collector world on fire. Only 36 of these masterpieces were ever built between 1962 and 1964. Each one slightly different, handcrafted to perfection. This whiskey was distilled in 1926, aged for 60 years, and then bottled in 1986. Only 40 bottles were ever produced, and of those, a mere handful have surfaced on the market. In 2019, one single bottle of this legendary whiskey sold for $1.9 million at Sotheby's in London, breaking every previous record for whiskey sales. They sit untouched, locked away in vaults or displayed like priceless works of art. It's about holding something utterly irreplaceable, a liquid time capsule from a bygone era. Because, in the ultra-wealthy world, sometimes the value lies not in the experience of tasting, but in the sheer privilege of ownership. What makes it truly special is its combination of rarity, design, and racing pedigree. To the average person, it's hard to imagine spending nearly $50 million on a car. The Macallan 1926 has become the ultimate symbol of whiskey collecting, with some bottles featuring hand-painted labels by iconic artists like Peter Blake or Valerio Adami, further increasing their value. #7. The Macallan 1926 fine and rare whiskey sold for $1.9 million. In the world of fine spirits, there's one name that towers above the rest. The Macallan 1926 fine and rare. What makes this bottle so extraordinary isn't just the brand, it's the story. Each sip of this whiskey represents not just decades, but generations of craftsmanship, patience, and artistry. But here's the kicker. Most of these bottles are never actually opened. A bottle of whiskey selling for nearly $2 million may sound insane. But to the collectors who chase these rarities, it's not about drinking. #6. Action Comics No. One sold for $3.25 million. One of the most unexpected items on this list is a humble comic book Action Comics No. 1. The 1938 issue that introduced the world to Superman. What once sold for just 10 cents in newsstands now holds the title of the most expensive comic book ever sold, fetching $3.25 million in a private sale in 2021. Without Superman, there would be no Batman, no Avengers, no Marvel or DC cinematic universes. This comic literally changed pop culture forever. What makes this comic so valuable isn't just its age, it's the birth of the entire superhero genre. The scarcity combined with the emotional connection people have to superheroes makes this one of the most coveted collector's items on the planet. Fewer than 100 original copies are believed to exist today, and only a handful are in near-mint condition. And the best part, unlike rare paintings or diamonds, this is something many people actually grew up with, making the nostalgia value priceless. For the buyer, it's not just about the pages, it's about owning a piece of history that sparked a billion-dollar global industry. #5. Salvator Mundi by Leonardo da Vinci sold for $450.3 million for centuries. It was lost to time, misattributed, and even painted over until it was rediscovered and authenticated as a genuine Da Vinci. And in this case, a legend worth more than the GDP of some small countries. The most expensive painting ever sold at auction is none other than Salvator Mundi, a long-lost masterpiece by Leonardo da Vinci. In 2017, it was sold at Christie's in New York for an eye-watering $450.3 million, setting a record that may not be broken for decades. Some say it's on a Saudi prince's private yacht. Others believe it's in a secret vault. Wherever it is, it represents the ultimate convergence of art, history, mystery, and money. Bought for just $1,175 at an obscure auction in 2005. It was painstakingly restored and then skyrocketed in value to nearly $500 million. The painting shows Christ holding a crystal orb, symbolizing his role as the savior of the world. The story behind the painting is almost as fascinating as the work itself. Today, Salvator Mundi's exact location remains a mystery. Buying a Da Vinci is about more than owning a painting, it's about owning a legend. #4. Rabbit Sculpture by Jeff Koons, sold for $91.1 million at first glance. It's just a shiny silver bunny, smooth, reflective, playful. But this isn't a toy. It's Rabbit by contemporary artist Jeff Koons, and in 2019, sold for an astounding $91.1 million at Christie's, New York, making it the most expensive artwork by a living artist ever sold at auction. It shattered expectations and sparked debates. Is this really art? Is it worth nearly $100 million? The buyer, billionaire hedge fund manager Steve Cohen, clearly thought so. Crafted in 1986 from stainless steel, the sculpture stands just over 3 feet tall, yet its impact on the art world is massive. Koons' work plays with ideas of consumerism, childhood, and mass production. This was Everyday's, the first 5,000 days. By digital artist people, it catapulted the world of NFTs into the mainstream overnight. By taking something as simple as a balloon animal or a rabbit and rendering it in shiny metal, Koons turns the ordinary into the extraordinary. The sale of Rabbit was a landmark moment for contemporary art. For some, it's about prestige. For others, it's a smart investment. But no matter how you look at it, Rabbit has become a modern icon, quirky, shiny, and incredibly valuable. #3. Everyday's, the first 5,000 days. NFT by Beeple, sold for $69.3 million in 2021. Something completely unprecedented happened. An entirely digital artwork with no physical form was sold at Christie's for $69.3 million. The piece is a collage of 5,000 digital images. Beeple created daily over 13 years. It's chaotic, colorful, sometimes absurd, but more importantly, it became a symbol of the explosive growth of the crypto art movement. But the ownership, the blockchain-verified certificate of authenticity, is what gives it value. A cryptocurrency investor using the alias Metacoven, who made headlines for the eye-popping bid. The sale sparked massive media attention, debates over what constitutes art, and a frenzy of interest in NFTs. The buyer? What makes this so mind-blowing is that anyone can technically view the artwork online for free. This auction changed the art world forever, proving that, in the digital age, value isn't just about the physical object. It's about uniqueness, scarcity, and cultural impact. #2. Les Femmes d'Alger by Pablo Picasso, sold for $179.4 million. Pablo Picasso appears once again on this list, this time with his iconic painting Les Femmes d'Alger, which sold for an astonishing $179.4 million at Christie's, New York in 2015. Painted in 1955. This work is part of a larger series of 15 paintings that Picasso created as a tribute to both the 19th century French painter Delacroix and his own muse and lover Dora Maar. The series is bold, colorful, fragmented, and pure Picasso in every brushstroke. What makes this particular version oh so special is that it is the final and most elaborate of the series. It embodies decades of Picasso's artistic evolution, blending cubism, abstraction, and raw emotional depth. It was about owning a piece of 20th century art history. It's a trophy that represents cultural and financial clout at the highest level. The fierce bidding that led to its record-breaking sale showed how the art market views Picasso not just as an artist, but as a brand, one of timeless prestige and immense financial value. For the buyer, who remains anonymous, it wasn't just about acquiring a painting. #1. Codex Leicester by Leonardo da Vinci. was purchased by Bill Gates in 1994 for $30.8 million, which, adjusted for inflation, would easily top this entire list. The pages are filled with his mirror-writing backwards script that requires a mirror to read. It's an intricate drawings that still fascinates scientists today. I had the codex digitized and shared publicly, so that millions could access the genius of Da Vinci. The notebook itself, however, remains one of the most precious and unique human documents ever created, sold for $30.8 million. It's not just an antique, it's the physical embodiment of creativity, intellect, and timeless curiosity. At number 1 isn't a painting, a car, or a gemstone, it's a book, or more precisely, a notebook written by the legendary polymath Leonardo da Vinci himself. The Codex Leicester, a 72-page manuscript filled with da Vinci's thoughts, sketches, and observations on everything from water movement to the brightness of the moon. Written between 1506 and 1510, the Codex reveals the mind of da Vinci at his most curious, blending science, philosophy, art, and engineering in a way that few human beings have ever matched. For Gates, this wasn't just a vanity purchase. It's hard to put a price on something like this. When you look back at this list, it's easy to think that spending tens or even hundreds of millions of dollars on paintings, diamonds, cars, or even digital art is pure madness. But here's the truth. These sales tell us something deeper about human nature. At the core, people don't just pay for objects, they pay for stories, rarity, and identity. Or a bottle of whiskey that may never be tasted. Each item we've explored represents more than its price tag. It's a symbol of status, of history, of a fleeting chance to own something truly irreplaceable. Whether it's a Ferrari roaring through Italian hills in the 60s, a Picasso, capturing the anguish and beauty of modern life. And yes, sometimes it's hard to wrap your head around the sheer scale of these numbers. But for those who can afford it, the goal isn't practicality, it's legacy. It's about being the person who owns the rarest comic book ever printed, or the diamond that took billions of years to form, or the last known handwritten pages of Leonardo da Vinci. These objects don't just sit on shelves or walls, they tell the world who you are. Here's the interesting part. You, Dan T, have to be a billionaire to take inspiration from this. Because whether you're collecting fine art, sneakers, vintage toys, or digital assets, same principles apply. Scarcity creates value. Stories drive emotion. Ownership builds identity. What seems ordinary today could become priceless tomorrow because value is always in the eye of the beholder. If you enjoyed this countdown of the most expensive auction items in history, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more top 10 lists like this. Like this video if you were shocked by any of these prices, and share it with a friend who loves crazy facts and luxury trivia. Thank you for watching Top Tier 10, and remember, sometimes the most valuable things in life aren't just things. They're the stories we tell about them.